All 60 plus of us getting pulled over.
So, the elephant in the room, guys, on this day's episode of Johnny Go Vroom. How do you feel about group rides? Would you be okay if you were on a commute regularly in your city every Tuesday or Thursday and you were driving and then, the already burdening traffic that is compounded by having a mass of 60 some odd PEV riders commuting and obstructing traffic to varying degrees, albeit trying to have fun. But where do you stand? How would you feel about that? And in this episode, we have to look at the hard truth and the reality of what these critical mass rides are doing. So before we get any further, I do want to ask you, please, if you can, like and subscribe, share the content if you feel so inclined, and check out the members section. There's a bunch of cool videos. I talk way too much, and if you enjoy any parts of it, there's lots of cool stuff on the other side of that paywall. Let's go ahead and watch the full video so we have some context for what's actually happening in St. Petersburg, Florida. Credit to Sven Couture and Mike Buell for the videos.
All 60 plus of us getting pulled over, asking for our IDs, telling us that the EUCs and the OneWheels and the scooters are illegal. Anything with bigger than a 750 motor on their e-bike, you're going to get a ticket.
So whether or not we think it's a good use of public funds and taxpayer dollars to perform this thing, there is actually a whole lot of people that do think it's a good idea and a whole lot of people that we have been irritating. And I've been saying this in the background. I've been trying to advocate for smarter approaches to these things. In fact, 3 months ago, I put out a video where I gave guidelines that if they had been followed, this never would have happened. I'm going to go ahead and put that video on right now. 13. This is something that I haven't had to do, but I think it's really important to do. If you are having a large ride, you need to look at getting that ride legal, get paperwork for that. If your ride's got 20 to 30 people or more, consider getting a permit or breaking the ride up into several smaller groups that can meet at different times. I know it sounds corporate, but once your group is taking up real road space, you're not invisible anymore. Getting a permit protects you, it protects the ride, and it keeps the city from seeing us as illegal, problematic things on the road. So I think that it's really important to consider, if you have a large ride, break it down into smaller things or consider getting a permit to make it legal. And if you have to get a permit for it, then consider not doing it quite as often as maybe you did in the past. Because if that is what you're doing and you're taking up that much city space, it's probably not going to be a good, even if you can get the permits, you're going to get a lot of pushback from the citizens in the city. So just consider other people inside of your fun, and I think that you'll have a much better time at it. So there we go, guys. I literally try to give guidelines for solid, reasonable approaches to making sure that electric unicycles remain a solid, fun outlet for everybody for as long as possible. And I know that ride wasn't just electric unicycles. There were other PEVs, there were scooters, there were OneWheels, there were the e-motos. And honestly, if we're being super honest, the e-motos, because of their easy access to power, they are quite, and the low skill ceiling required for them, they are quite the problem child of the PEV community. So if you have e-motos in your group, at the very least, I recommend that you distance yourselves from them immediately. And I think what breaks my heart the most, if we're looking at this and we're being, just obvious and objective about this, is that there's a lot of kids out here that are just trying to have fun with their parents. So this does not feel like a good core memory. This feels like a foundational building of some really negative sentiments towards the police. I don't think that this is a good use of police force, the way that it was executed. I do think that it is inevitable, and it does break my heart, as I said, for those kids, because as adults, as people putting this all together, we really have to be mindful and not act like we are above pushback, like we are above the community that we're in, because really, That guy, he took his time there. Really, he took his time. But we cannot act like we are above the communities that we are in. How often have I ever seen a video posted of a PEV group that was like cleaning or like, going around picking up litter or anything like that? I have always advocated. And Rob Lee and Mike Buell out of Clearwater, Florida, are absolutely some of the best advocates that we could possibly hope to have for trails. They make sure that we are accepted on mountain bike trails where go across the country. We are getting banned from state park and trails full sail. If we do not put into these communities in a meaningful way and we continue to extract our fun at the cost of any and everybody that crosses our path, we are not long lived for enjoying our hobby. Okay, like I try and I try and I try, and I love my community so much, all of you guys here, because you all are of the same mind. You make way for pedestrians like what I just did. You pause for cars like what I do nonstop in every single one of my videos. Every single one of these videos is an ambassador note for how to treat your community respectfully while still having fun. I promise you, I enjoy myself every single time I ride my wheel, but the amount of times that I am a burden to anybody, if I am 100% aware of it, 1,000% of the time. That's a really big number that makes zero sense, but you get what I'm trying to say. Right here, you see I am backing away. I don't want, even though I have right away right here, they could stop for me. What I am trying to do is I am trying to ease out traffic. I am trying to let the traffic flush itself so that way nobody waiting there has a chance to see that the reason that they're waiting at this godforsaken light is because some yuppie on a freaking one wheel feels like his path is more important than their day. And you know what? I am being blessed to ride this wheel, so I am more than happy to be able to give the grace of just a couple of extra seconds to make that much of an impact in my community. It's worth it for them. It's worth it. Everybody else got to see me do it as well. It's worth it, guys. Be considerate. Now, unfortunately, we got to look at the comment section. There's some things for us, there's some things against us, and largely, guys, you're gonna hate it because it's mostly against us. It might seem like a personal freedom being violated, but I gotta say, as a person who drives a car every day, these electric scooters and skateboards and bikes are starting to be a real problem. I've had several close calls already, and one of them even ran into my bumper while I was sitting at a red light and tried to accuse me of hitting him. It's a growing problem because the great majority of people on electric vehicles weren't previously bicyclists, so they don't understand the etiquette, and they're just plain not careful.
Damn, bruh. I guess you gotta say it louder for the people in the back, man. Johnny, I think you got this, bruh.
Damn, Mr. Contrarian has nothing to say today. All right, man, I appreciate you letting me get at it, Johnny. Let me say this loud for every single person out there. And if you're in my audience, pass it along to the next batch of people, because the people in my community generally don't need to be told this. But hear me. You do not have the right of way, ever, okay? On an electric unicycle, you just never do. Even if you happen to win a court case because somebody tapped you on your electric unicycle and you flailed about and you managed to get all the money from the court case and you managed to vindicate yourself, you have damned electric unicycles in your community. Hear me when I say this. You have damned electric unicycles in your community, because you have now set a precedent where people who are in taxable money revenue driving cars now have to be worried about you. And that is not going to fly for very long. So even if you feel like you won, like you got a vindication, pass this along. Members in the audience, pass it along, because you know I'm not talking to you. Because if you've been here long enough, then you wouldn't be here, because you'd be like, oh, this guy, he just rants about being a decent human all the time and I can't stand it. But no, you never have the right of way. So 100% of the time, if you are riding your electric unicycle, everybody else has the right of way. If it's a car, if it's a baby in a stroller, if it's a grown-up baby on a stroller, if it's a person in a shopping cart, if it's a dog riding a llama, riding a skateboard, whatever it is, they have the right of way. You see what I just did? I just went around people at an intersection because I did not want to block up, obfuscate, obstruct the intersection. You see me right now moving out of the way of this guy. You see me, I can't tell this guy that I'm in his way because he has got his headphones on, and so, or the thing's really loud, so we're gonna look like we're about to crash. And I'm not mad. I think he was a little bit upset, but he couldn't hear me. I tried to let him know. But We never have the right of way. And you see me demonstrate that 100% of the time, guys, and I'm still having fun. I had a kid fly by me on an e-scooter type thing so fast on the sidewalk as I was pulling out of my own driveway. I didn't hear or see him, and if I hadn't slammed on my brakes last minute, I might have hit him. Then what? I don't mind them, but I wish they'd be more careful. See, on the sidewalks, people aren't used to seeing things going 30, 40 miles an hour. So if you're on a sidewalk, you really have to adopt the sidewalk speed. I know that I'm not always doing that in my videos, but what you do see me doing is when a person or an object, if it's a car, if it's a pedestrian, if it's a bike, whatever it is, I make sure that I adopt a speed that is sidewalk safe. I do not blow intersections if there are cars there and I have not cleared it already. We need all the help that we can get. So in the comment section, please just let us know what you're doing, how you're riding, and the things that you do to try to make sure you can keep your community moving for as long as possible. The two people whose comments that I've shared so far, those people are advocates, and you can sense the fatigue. You can hear the fatigue in the voice of our advocates, guys. We don't have long if we don't take action steps to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen. Please, guys. I don't know everything. I am not at all the smartest person in any group of people, but I've messed up a lot. I've messed up so much, and I have pissed people off so many times, and I have broken so many rules, and I have had to pay so many prices for this, guys. When I try to give a heads up about stuff that seems traumatic or like it's gonna go in the wrong direction, it's only because I have experienced it, man. I just want to see this thing thrive. I want to see it last for as long as possible.
Wait, whoa, Johnny, what do you mean? Those were like, those comments were from our allies, bruh?
Oh, yeah. No, those were the people that like us. No, just wait for this. Wait, I'm right here.
It's about time. Yes, more of this, please.
Awesome. Thank you, officers, for keeping the trail safe for us.
Wholesome.
Can't believe.
Good.
So yeah, by and large, the majority of comments are actually super duper negative, and lots of people that are relieved that we are no longer burdening the ecosystem of their infrastructure in St. Pete. So guys, do not let this happen to you. And what can we do now? Okay? I think that's really where we need to focus on what can be done now. I think that even now, if in St. Pete, they organized a cleanup crew with electric unicycles by themselves and then OneWheels by themselves. I don't know that scooters can do it because they have to have the handle and I don't know where they're going to hold the trash bag or whatever, but I think doing cleanup days, I think trying to figure out ways to positively serve the community on the device that you love, thereby giving a more positive outlook on the device to the community, I think that's really how we're gonna make a path forward. Not just by showboating, hot rodding, and living life like we're the only ones that matter. There were kids out there, guys. This is a traumatic experience. This is something that we don't have to do. And the victim says, oh, well, the cops did this to us. We were the ones that, No, guys, you have been doing this. You know that this is big. You know that this is a problem. This is a problem that has been called out and yet continue. It's like what happened in the Gulf. The BP disaster, it was a problem. It got called out and they continued until the shit hit the fan. And then we got the BP crisis. Now, obviously, one of those things is not nearly comparable to the other in the scope of the fallout. Seriously, the ecosystem is just never going to be the same down there in the Gulf, man. But if you use one of these things to help you with your depression, if you use one of these things to help you with your alcoholism, with your drug addictions, then this can be an equally vile hazard to your life to not have it inside of your existence, guys. You've got to be mindful and try to preserve this, okay? Seriously, we've got to do better. Anyway, guys, what do you think that we should do? What do you think the solution is? I mean, obviously, there's going to be some people in the comments that, Johnny, help me with it.
Dude, the cops are stupid. They don't have any right. They've got nothing better to do. Seriously? They're not protecting and serving anyone. I mean, they're clearly impeding on our liberties. We have the right to ride our wheels. We have the right to scoot our scoots. I mean, seriously, who do they think we are? Who do they think they are? I mean, we We've got to fight back. You've got to push back. If you all run, they can't catch you all.
So yeah, there's gonna be those people, and that person exists inside of me as well, I promise you. But that person's gonna get this movement 0 places positive. I promise you, it's not gonna work out good in the least. So, now that we got that out of the way, what do we do in order to positively make change? In order to make sure we have a clear pathway to legality in the future? You know, is it little groups that help and do the environmental pickup thing? As I've said over and over, and you can tell that I'm at a loss for ideas because that's like my favorite idea. You know, I'm not sure what other community service things that we can offer, but maybe you guys know. Maybe there's other things that we can do that will improve the perception of electric unicycles. And until then, we are going to be seen as a burden by people who are stuck inside of the rigors and the vices that we use these wheels to get outside of. And that's just the way it's going to be. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for another episode of Johnny Go Vroom. Thank you so much for just sticking around, for vibing. You know, if you like the content, again, like, share, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like hearing me talk more than a little bit, then there is a section where you can hear me talk more than a lot. And that's in the Members Plus section. And we even got a high tier section where I do some training stuff. But thank you guys. I appreciate you. And just you being here is the blessing. So until next time, it's been your boy Johnny Go Vroom. And be safe, guys, okay? And if you got big groups, you know, consider doing things to make them more palatable to the community you live inside of. Peace.
And of course, a big thank you to all of my beautiful channel members. You guys are absolutely adorable. I cannot believe of all the people in the world, you are here for me, and I just can't believe it. I love you guys. Thank you. I hope that you have a spectaculous day and evening and week.